The sound of my brother's laughter echoes through the dining room as I stare at the Home Depot gift card in my hands. $30. Not even enough to buy decent paintbrushes, let alone the specialized tools I need for my restoration work. Thanks, I manage, though the word tastes like copper in my mouth. My mother beams at the twins, both wearing matching Rolex watches, their birthday presents from last month. Well, we know how practical you are, Julie. This way you can get exactly what you need. I'm Juliana, not Julie. Never Julie. But I've stopped correcting her years ago. Ethan and Ryan are already comparing their new golf club sets, heads bent together like conspiring children. The price tags are still dangling from the bags, $4,000 each. The same amount I needed for that art restoration workshop in Florence. Speaking of practical, my father says, straightening his tie, the boys just closed their first major accounts at the firm. Following right in my footsteps, he raises his whiskey glass. To the Parker legacy. Everyone joins the toast except Nana Rose, who watches me from across the table with knowing eyes. She's the only one who sees me grip my wine glass so hard, my knuckles turn white. And what about Juliana's restoration of the Thompson portrait? Nana Rose's voice cuts through the celebration. That was quite an achievement, wasn't it? My mother waves her hand dismissively. Oh yes, the painting thing. Very nice, dear. She turns back to the twins. Now tell everyone about that merger you're working on. Lucas squeezes my knee under the table. I know what he's thinking, that I should speak up, demand recognition. But 32 years of being invisible have taught me that screaming into the void only makes your throat roar. Actually, I say standing up, I should get going. Early client meeting tomorrow. The lie slides out easily. Truth is, I can't bear another minute of this farce. Already? Ryan looks up, genuine surprise on his face. Sometimes I think he doesn't even realize how they treat me. But we haven't had cake yet. Save me a slice. I force a smile, gathering my coat and purse. Lucas moves to stand, but I shake my head slightly. Someone should stay to witness this perfect family portrait. Mother and father proudly flanking their golden boys while the forgotten daughter slips away unnoticed. Nana Rose catches my arm as I pass. Remember what I told you, she whispers. Sometimes the quietest revenge is the most satisfying. I kiss her cheek, breathing in her familiar lavender scent. She presses something into my hand. An envelope. Happy birthday, my dear. Open it when you get home. The drive home is a blur of streetlights and suppressed tears. In my apartment, I finally open Nana's envelope. Inside is a check for $50,000 and a note. To restore what matters most, your spirit. They'll never see it coming. I sink onto my couch, the check trembling in my hands. My phone buzzes with messages from Lucas, but I ignore them. Instead, I pull up my email and click on an old saved draft. An application for a prestigious restoration position at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. For years, I've been the good daughter, swallowing their indifference like bitter medicine. But Nana's right. The quietest revenge is the most satisfying. And as I hit send on the application, I feel something shift inside me. Like the first crack in a damaged painting, revealing layers of darkness underneath. Let them have their perfect family portrait. I'll create my own masterpiece, stroke by careful stroke, until they realize what they've lost. And by then, it will be too late. I trace my finger along the gilded frame of the Rembrandt I'm restoring, while my mother's voice crackles through the speakerphone. The Aspen house this Christmas, darling. The whole family will be there. Even the boys are taking time off from the firm. The boys. Always the boys. I have commitments here, I say, focusing on a particularly delicate section of craquelure. The museum has several pieces that need... Juliana, this is family. Her surgical precision cuts through my excuse. Your father's already arranged the jet. The twins are bringing their girlfriends. It'll be just like old times. Old times. Like when they left me at the Uffizi Gallery in Florence during our family vacation because Ethan had a tennis tournament to get back to. I was 16. The security guard found me sketching in an empty hall after closing. I'll think about it. And bring Lucas. He's such a nice young man, though I still don't understand why he doesn't work for a proper agency instead of doing that freelance whatever it is. My phone buzzes with another call, Lucas himself. I have to go, Mother. Client calling. Before she can protest, I switch lines. Save me, I say. That bad? Lucas's voice soothes like balm on a burn. I just got an interesting email. You might want to come over when you're done. At his apartment later, Lucas shows me his laptop screen. It's an email from my father's firm, requesting proposals for a complete rebranding. They're looking to modernize their image. Budget's huge. And you're considering it? The thought of Lucas working for my father makes my stomach turn. Think about it, Jules. Inside access, financial records, client lists. His eyes gleam with possibility. Everything they've built their precious legacy on. I stand up, pacing his living room. That's crossing a line. Like they crossed with you? For 32 years? He catches my hand, pulls me close. You saw Nana Rose's check. She wants you to fight back. This could be our chance. Before I can respond, my phone chimes. A text from Ryan. Hey sis, heard you might skip Aspen. Not cool, need you there to keep E from boring everyone with golf stories. A second message follows. Plus, got news, big news, family stuff. I show Lucas the texts. He arches an eyebrow. Family stuff? What, did they finally notice you exist? Ryan's different sometimes. He at least tries to... To what? Include you in their perfect little world, while they hand him everything on a silver platter? Lucas's voice hardens. You deserve more than their scraps of attention. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Nana Rose. Come see me tomorrow, dear. There are things you need to know before Aspen. Lucas reads over my shoulder. Now that's interesting. I think of the check, still untouched in my drawer, of the Met application, now under review, of 32 years of watching from the sidelines. I'll go to Aspen, I decide. But first, I want to hear what Nana Rose has to say. Lucas pulls up the firm's email again. And my proposal? I stare at my father's company letterhead, remembering all the times he brought the twins to the office, teaching them the family business while I sat alone in my room with my art books. Do it, I say, but be careful. If they suspect anything, trust me. He kisses my forehead. By the time we're done, they won't know what hit them. Later that night, I lie awake, thinking about Ryan's text. Family stuff. The last time there was family stuff, the twins got partnership tracks at the firm. The time before that, matching BMWs for passing the bar. My phone lights up with one last message from my mother. Booked your flight? First class, of course. The boys insisted. Of course they did. Because in the Parker family, everything is first class, except the daughter who never quite fit the frame. But frames can be restored, or broken beyond repair. I pull up the Met application status page, refreshing it for the 100th time. Still under review. But soon they'll see. They'll all see. I close my eyes, Nana Rose's words echoing in my mind. The quietest revenge is the most satisfying. Tomorrow I'll learn what secrets she's been keeping. And then, in Aspen, we'll see who's really ready for family stuff. Nana Rose's hands shake as she slides the manila folder across her antique coffee table. Your father's firm isn't as pristine as they pretend, she says. These documents might interest you. Inside, I find financial statements, investment records, trust fund details. My eyes catch on the numbers. Educational trusts set up for the twins totaling millions. Private school tuitions. European internships. Sports camps. The list goes on. And then I see my name. A single entry. J. Parker Art School Loan. $25,000. A loan. Not even a gift. While my brothers received fully funded educations, I'd been quietly accumulating debt. There's more, Nana Rose says, her voice hardening. Check the last page. It's a copy of my father's will, updated last month. The family art collection, pieces I've spent years helping restore and maintain, all designated to be split between Ethan and Ryan. They don't even appreciate art, I whisper, my fingers cramping around the paper. No, they don't. Nana Rose takes my hand. But this isn't just about art, is it? My phone buzzes. Lucas. Meeting with your father's firm in an hour. You were right about the financial records. Something's not adding up. How did you get these? I ask Nana Rose. She smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. Your grandfather wasn't the only one who knew how to navigate the family business. Before he died, he shared certain concerns about your father's management practices. Another text from Lucas. Found something big, really big. Call me ASAP. The Aspen trip, Nana Rose continues. There's a reason they're insisting everyone attend. Your father's planning to announce his retirement. The firm will pass to the twins. My laugh sounds hollow even to my ears. Of course it will. But timing is everything, dear. She reaches for another folder, and I believe the timing couldn't be better for certain truths to come to light. Before she can show me more, my mother calls. Juliana, darling, wonderful news. The boys just closed the Henderson merger. We're having a celebration dinner tonight. You'll come, won't you? I stare at the financial records in my lap. Actually, Mother, I have my own news to share. Oh? Her tone shifts, prepared for disappointment. I've been accepted to the Metropolitan Museum's restoration program in New York. Silence stretches between us. Then, but what about the family, the firm? Your brothers need... My brothers need what, exactly? The words escape before I can stop them. More money, more praise, more pieces of my life to claim as their own. I don't understand why you're being so dramatic. We've always supported your hobby. Hobby? I stand up, pacing Nana Rose's living room. Is that what you call 15 years of training? The countless hours I've spent preserving our family's collection. The collection you're giving to the twins. How did you... She catches herself. Who told you about the will? Does it matter? Were you ever going to tell me yourself? Another text from Lucas flashes. Found proof of misappropriated client funds. Your father's been cooking the books for years. My mother's voice turns sharp. We'll discuss this in Aspen, as a family. Yes, I say, watching Nana Rose pull more documents from her second folder. I suppose we will. After hanging up, I call Lucas. His voice is tight with excitement. Jules, this is bigger than we thought. Your father's been running a scheme through the firm for decades, using client funds to finance the twins' lifestyles, covering it up with fake accounts. I look at Nana Rose, who nods slowly. He wasn't as careful as he thought, she says. Your grandfather kept records of everything. My phone lights up with another call. Ryan this time. Probably calling to brag about the merger. But for once, I don't feel the familiar twist of jealousy. Instead, I feel something else. Something colder, more calculated. The Met position starts in January, I tell Nana Rose. Right after the Aspen trip. She pats my hand. Perfect timing, wouldn't you say? Now, about these other documents. I silence my buzzing phone and lean forward. It's time to learn exactly how deep the Parker family's perfect facade cracks go. And in Aspen, they'll learn exactly what it costs to underestimate their forgotten daughter. The Metropolitan Museum's acceptance letter sits on my kitchen counter like a loaded gun. Lucas paces behind me, his excitement filling the room. This is perfect timing, Jules, with your father's announcement in Aspen and what we found in those records. My phone rings. Ryan. Third time today. You should answer it, Lucas says. Keep up appearances until we're ready. I press accept. Ryan. Jules, thank God. His voice sounds different, strained. Listen, I need to talk to you, not over the phone. Can we meet? Lucas shakes his head frantically, but something in Ryan's tone makes me pause. When? Now. The old gallery downtown. Please, sis, it's important. An hour later, I find Ryan alone in the gallery, standing before our grandfather's prized Monet. He looks smaller somehow, his usual confidence deflated. I found something, he says without turning around. About Dad's retirement announcement, about the firm. My pulse quickens. What about it? The Henderson merger, it's not real. He finally faces me, eyes red-rimmed. The whole thing's a fraud. Dad's been moving client funds around for years, covering losses. When he announces his retirement in Aspen, he's planning to disappear with everything. The room tilts slightly. And the twins inherit the mess, I whisper. Exactly. Ryan runs a hand through his hair. Ethan doesn't know yet. He still thinks... He trails off, staring at the Monet. Did you know Dad's already sold this? Along with half the collection? My fingers curl into fists. When? Last month, right after updating his will. Ryan's laugh is bitter. Guess he figured if he's going down, might as well take everyone with him. My phone buzzes. Lucas asking where I am. I ignore it. Why are you telling me this? I ask Ryan. He steps closer, lowering his voice. Because you're the only one who ever saw through their bullshit. The golden twins, the perfect sons. His voice cracks. It was all a lie, Jules. We were just props in their game. And now you want my help? I want to make it right. He pulls out a USB drive. Everything's here. The fake accounts, the missing funds, the real estate schemes. Help me expose him before Aspen, before he can disappear. My hand hovers over the drive. Lucas's words echo in my head. Keep up appearances until we're ready. But whose plan am I following? Ryan grabs my arm. There's more. About Lucas. The gallery door slams open. Lucas stands there, face dark. Sorry I'm late, Jules. Ryan, what a surprise. Ryan's grip tightens. Tell her, he says to Lucas. Tell her who really orchestrated the Henderson merger. Lucas steps forward, smile sharp as broken glass. Careful, Ryan. Some truths are better left buried. Like how you've been working with Dad this whole time. Ryan's words hit like physical blows. Playing both sides, setting up your own escape plan. I jerk away from both of them, my carefully constructed revenge plot crumbling around me. Lucas? Don't listen to him, Lucas says. He's trying to save himself. The proof's on the drive, Ryan insists, along with Lucas's offshore accounts. He's been siphoning money for months. The Monet blurs before me. Another masterpiece revealed as a fraud, just like everything else in my life. My phone buzzes again. Mother. Darling, your father needs to speak with you immediately. It's about the firm. I look between Ryan and Lucas, two men claiming to protect me, both potentially betraying me. The Met acceptance letter burns in my bag like evidence of another escape plan. But whose? Jules. Lucas reaches for me. Everything I did was for us. No, I step back. Everything you did was for you. I take the USB drive from Ryan. I'm going to Aspen, I tell them both, but not for either of you. Outside, the winter air bites at my face. I pull up Nana Rose's number, then hesitate. How many more layers of deception am I about to uncover? The drive weighs heavy in my pocket as I walk away from the gallery, leaving both men behind. In the window's reflection, the Monet watches me go, another beautiful lie in a family built on them. Aspen is coming, and now I have 3 different versions of the truth to unravel before my father's announcement tears everything apart. The question is, whose destruction am I really orchestrating? The USB drive's contents spill across my laptop screen. Spreadsheets, bank statements, emails that read like a roadmap to destruction. My father's signature appears everywhere, alongside another familiar name, Lucas Chen, financial consultant. My phone lights up, Lucas again. 15 missed calls since the gallery. A knock at my door makes me slam the laptop shut. Through the peephole, I see Ethan, still in his suit from the office. I know you're in there, Jules, he calls out. Ryan told me everything. I open the door but block the entrance. Did he tell you about Lucas? Lucas? Ethan's confusion seems genuine. I'm here about Dad. The Henderson merger isn't real, I know. He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture so like Ryan's it makes my chest ache. There's more. Mom's involved too. The hospital board is investigating missing funds, and her name's all over Dad's offshore accounts. The room spins slightly. What? They're planning something in Aspen. Ryan thinks... My phone buzzes again. This time it's Nana Rose. Come quickly. Your mother's here. I have to go, I tell Ethan. Jules, wait. He grabs my arm. Whatever you're planning with Lucas, don't. He's not who you think he is. At Nana Rose's house, I find my mother sitting in the parlor, perfectly composed except for her trembling hands. "The Metropolitan Museum called me," she says without preamble, "about your application." I freeze. "How did they—" "Lucas contacted them. Said there were concerns about your stability." She sets down her teacup. "He provided quite detailed information about your history of family resentment." The betrayal hits like a physical blow. "He wouldn't." "Oh, darling." Her smile is almost pitying. "Men like Lucas don't love people like us. They use us." "Like you used me?" The words escape before I can stop them. "To make the twins look better? To hide your own secrets?" Nana Rose steps forward. "Linda, stay out of this, Mother." My mother stands, her surgeon's precision returning. "You've interfered enough. First with those financial records, now with exposing your fraud." I pull out the USB drive. "Or Dad's plan to disappear with everything." Something flickers in her eyes. Fear? "Where did you get that?" "Does it matter? The truth's coming out in Aspen anyway." "Is that what Ryan told you?" She laughs softly. "Oh, Juliana, you still don't see it, do you? Ryan's been working with Lucas from the beginning. They needed someone with access to the family's weak points, someone angry enough to be manipulated." My phone buzzes one final time. A text from Lucas. "Check your email, I'm sorry." With shaking hands, I open my inbox. There it is. My Met application, forwarded to every major gallery and museum in the country, along with a detailed history of the Parker family's financial irregularities and my supposed mental health issues. "The exhibition you're planning," my mother continues. "The one where you'll expose everything. Lucas already sold the rights, the whole story, the neglected daughter's revenge, the corrupt family's downfall. It's going to make him quite famous." Nana Rose moves to comfort me, but I step back. "You knew about this." "Not everything," she whispers, "but enough to know you needed to see the truth yourself." My phone chimes with incoming emails. Galleries cancelling contracts, museums withdrawing offers, my carefully constructed future crumbling with each notification. "We're leaving for Aspen tomorrow," my mother announces. "You have a choice to make, Juliana. Come with us, help fix this mess, and we'll handle Lucas together. Or stay here and let him destroy everything, including you." I look between them. My mother with her surgical precision, Nana Rose with her complicated mercy, and my own reflection in the window fractured by evening light. The USB drive weighs heavy in my pocket, filled with enough truth to burn everything down. But whose truth? And at what cost? "I'll see you in Aspen," I finally say. My mother nods once, victory and something else, regret, crossing her face. As she leaves, Nana Rose touches my arm. "Remember," she whispers, "sometimes the greatest revenge is letting others destroy themselves." I watch my mother's car disappear into the darkness, already planning my next move, because in the Parker family, truth is just another masterpiece waiting to be restored or shattered beyond repair. And I'm done being anyone's canvas. The Aspen house looms before me, its windows gleaming like accusatory eyes in the mountain sunset. Inside, I can hear laughter, the annual Parker family reunion in full swing. My fingers trace the USB drive in my pocket as I climb the steps. Ryan opens the door before I can knock. "You came? Not for you?" The great room falls silent as I enter. My father stands by the fireplace, drink in hand, while my mother perches on the arm of his chair, the perfect power couple. Ethan hovers near the window, avoiding my gaze. "Juliana," my father's voice carries across the room. "We were just discussing the Henderson merger." "Were you?" I move closer, noting how his hand tightens around his glass. "Or were you discussing Lucas's book deal?" A sharp intake of breath from my mother. "How did you—" "No." I pull out my phone, displaying Lucas's latest email. "He sent me the manuscript this morning. The Art of Deception. Inside America's Most Corrupt Family." Quite a title. "It's all lies," my father declares, but his face has lost colour. "Is it?" I look around the room at the faces I once trusted. The offshore accounts? Mum's hospital fraud? The fake merger? Which part is the lie? Ryan steps forward. Jules, let me explain. Explain what? How you and Lucas played me? Or how you're both planning to disappear with Dad's money after the announcement tomorrow? Ethan's head snaps up. Ryan? Oh. I laugh, the sound brittle as breaking glass. He didn't tell you that part, did he? Your twin's been working with Lucas for months. They needed someone inside the family, and who better than the golden boy? That's enough. My father sets down his glass. This ends now. You're right. I pull out the USB drive. It does end now. But before I can continue, the door opens again. Lucas walks in, followed by two men in suits. I'm sorry I'm late. He moves to stand beside my father. Traffic from the airport was terrible. My mother rises, smooth as silk. Lucas has been helping us prepare for tomorrow's announcement. Haven't you, dear? The world tilts sideways as understanding crashes in. They're all in it together, every single one of them. The book deal, I whisper. The Met rejection, the leaked documents, it was all. A test, Lucas finishes, to see how far you'd go for revenge. Your father needed to know if you could be trusted with the real family business. And you failed spectacularly, my mother adds. Just like always. The men in suits step forward. One reaches for the USB drive in my hand. Those are federal agents, my father explains, here to arrest the person responsible for attempting to defraud the firm. We have evidence of unauthorized access to confidential files, attempted blackmail. You can't... We can, Ryan interrupts, and we will. Unless what? My father picks up a document from the mantel. Sign over your rights to the family trust. Admit yourself to a private facility for treatment of your emotional issues. Do that, and this all goes away. I look around the room one last time, at my mother's surgical precision, my father's calculated control, the twins' practiced innocence. At Lucas, who taught me everything about revenge, except how to see it coming. There's one thing you forgot, I say, reaching for my phone. And what's that? I press play. My father's voice fills the room, confessing everything to Lucas in the gallery last week. Then Ryan's voice plotting their escape. My mother's admission of the hospital fraud. I learned from the best, I tell them as their faces drain of colour. Never trust anyone completely. The real federal agents burst in before anyone can move. As handcuffs click into place, I turn to leave, pausing only when Nana Rose appears in the doorway. Well done, she mouths, and I realise the final truth. She orchestrated everything, using their own schemes against them. Outside, snow begins to fall, covering the perfect Parker family facade in clean, cold white. Tomorrow, the headlines will shatter that facade forever. But tonight, standing in the mountain darkness, I wonder if victory tastes like victory at all, or if it's just another shade of revenge, as empty as the house behind me. The Metropolitan Museum's Grand Hall echoes with applause as I accept the Restoration Excellence Award. 6 months after Aspen, after the arrests and scandals, I stand before the art world's elite, my name finally my own. Ms. Parker's work on the recently discovered Vermeer demonstrates extraordinary skill, the presenter announces. Her innovative techniques have revolutionized. Movement at the backs of the hall catches my eye. Lucas slips in wearing the same confident smile he wore in Aspen. Behind him, Ethan appears, then Ryan. My hands tighten around the podium. Thank you, I cut the presenter short. But there's something everyone should know about restoration. The crowd stills. In the front row, Nana Rose nods slightly. Sometimes, I continue, what appears broken is actually revealing its true nature. Like this Vermeer. I gesture to the painting behind me. For years it was thought to be a fake, hidden beneath layers of deliberate damage. But the truth was always there, waiting. Lucas moves closer, his smile faltering. My family's law firm claimed to restore people's futures. My mother's surgical practice promised to restore bodies, but they were frauds, hiding corruption beneath perfect veneers. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Journalists lean forward. What they didn't understand about restoration is that you can't fake authenticity. every brushstroke tells the truth. I lock eyes with Lucas. Every betrayal leaves a mark. He reaches into his jacket. Security tenses. The Parker family's fall wasn't just about financial fraud, I say. It was about the cost of perfection, the price of keeping up appearances. That's enough. Lucas's voice carries across the hall. You've made your point. Have I? I step away from the podium. Tell them about the book deal, Lucas. Tell them how you played both sides, selling out everyone for your own revenge. You don't understand, he starts, but Ryan cuts him off. Show them the real contract, Ryan calls out. The one you made with our father before everything fell apart. Lucas spins toward him. You said you destroyed that. I lied. Ryan pulls out his phone. Just like you lied about helping Jules. About helping any of us. The contract appears on the hall's presentation screen. Lucas's signature beside my father's, dated years before we met. Their shared plan to dismantle the Parker Empire from within. You needed me broken, I realize. Angry enough to help destroy my own family. But you didn't count on one thing. Nana Rose, Lucas says bitterly. She stands elegant even at 80. I taught Juliana the most important lesson about restoration. Sometimes to save something valuable, you must first strip away everything false. Security moves in as Lucas reaches again into his jacket, but he pulls out only a gallery contract, the rights to my family's story. You still need me, he says. Your reputation, your career, it all hinges on this narrative. The triumphant artist rising from family betrayal. I pick up the Vermeer, turning it to face the crowd. Look closely. What do you see? They lean in, studying the painting. The damage, I explain, isn't covered up. It's incorporated into the restoration. The cracks, the age, the history, they're all part of its beauty now, its truth. I face Lucas one last time. I don't need your version of my story. I am not a fake waiting to be exposed. I am every crack, every flaw, every painful truth that made me whole. As security leads Lucas away, Ethan and Ryan approach the stage. We stand together, 3 broken pieces of a family portrait, finally seeing each other clearly. The thing about restoration, I tell the silent crowd, is that it's never about making something new. It's about honoring what remains. And sometimes, what remains is more beautiful than what was lost. The applause this time feels different. Not for the perfect facade, but for the authentic truth beneath. As I leave the stage, Nana Rose takes my hand. Ready for what comes next? She asks. I look back at the Vermeer, at its beautiful imperfections. Yes, I think I finally am. The restored Vermeer hangs at the center of my first solo exhibition, its damaged beauty drawing whispers from the crowd. Beside it, photographs tell our family's story. The perfect Parkers, slowly cracking apart. My mother's surgical license revocation notice, my father's prison intake photo, Lucas's confession printed in the Times, each image a brushstroke in this final restoration. You've made quite a statement, Nana Rose says, appearing at my elbow. Though I suspect this isn't the whole truth either. I touch the Vermeer's frame. There's something I never told you about this painting. Oh? It's not actually damaged. My fingers trace the seemingly broken surface. These marks, these imperfections, they're intentional. The artist wanted to show that beauty isn't about perfection. It's about honesty. Ethan approaches, Ryan trailing behind. They look smaller somehow, without our parents' shadow looming over them. We found more documents, Ethan says quietly, about why Dad really favored us. I don't want to know. You should. Ryan hands me a yellowed envelope. It's about Grandfather's will, the real one. Inside, I find a letter dated before my birth. My grandfather's handwriting, sharp and clear. To my first grandchild goes everything. The firm, the art, the legacy, unless that child is a daughter. He threatened to disinherit Dad if he didn't protect the male line, Ethan explains. That's why they tried to break me? The letter crumples in my fist. Make me doubt myself until I gave up my claim. Jules, Ryan reaches for my hand. We never knew. A commotion near the entrance draws our attention. My parents, escorted by their lawyers, enter the gallery. My mother's surgical precision has dulled to resignation. My father's commanding presence reduced to careful steps in visitors' clothes. They're not supposed to be here, Ethan starts, but I stop him. Let them see. They move through the exhibition slowly, taking in each image, each revelation. When they reach the Vermeer, my father lifts his hand as if to touch it, then lets it fall. "You restored it," he says without turning. "Like you restored the truth." "No." I move to stand beside him. "I just stopped hiding the damage." My mother's voice cracks. "We thought we were protecting you." "From what? Success, independence, love?" "From becoming like us," she whispers. Nana Rose joins us, her presence commanding attention. "There's something else you should know, Juliana, about why I helped you." She pulls out another photograph, herself as a young woman standing before a painting very like the Vermeer. "Your grandfather didn't write that will," she says. "I did, to show him how it feels when someone tries to control your destiny through fear." The gallery lights seem to dim, focusing on our small group before the painting that started everything. "So this was your revenge?" I ask her. "Using me to destroy what he built?" "No, dear," she takes my hand. "This was your restoration. I just provided the tools." As security guides my parents out, I study the Vermeer one last time. In the damaged surface, I see all of us reflected. The perfect family that never was, the broken one we became, and something else emerging from the cracks. "What happens now?" Ryan asks. I think of Lucas in prison, still believing he orchestrated everything. Of my parents facing their choices. Of the legacy built on fear and control. "We stop trying to restore what's broken," I tell them, "and start creating something new." The exhibition lights brighten, illuminating the whole gallery. Around us, critics praise the technical brilliance, the emotional depth, the fearless exposure of truth, but they miss the real masterpiece. 3 siblings standing together, seeing each other clearly for the first time. Nana Rose slips away, leaving one final note. "Remember, the most beautiful restorations don't hide the damage, they transform it." I look at my brothers, at our shared reflection in the Vermeer's gleaming surface. In the intentional imperfections, I see our future. Not perfect, not completely healed, but honestly, defiantly our own. The damage remains, but now it tells a different story.